Coming up on today's show.
British astronaut Tim Peake visits Media City.
Salford City FC is getting a new stadium.
And we chat to the very famous fox, Basil Brush.
Hello and welcome to Quays News. I'm Nicola.
And I'm Michael. Our top story today, a new fracking site to be built in Little Plumpton in Lancashire has caused uproar amongst residents. I went to one of the many protests against the plans. Fracking. A controversial and widely divided issue. The government have given over 100 licences to energy firms, allowing them to pursue operations. They argue that it increases employment and makes cheaper energy. However, the public say that the ends simply don't justify the means. I'm here at Manchester Airport, where a rally is taking place against the commissioning of a new fracking site. Supporters want their voices heard after national governments overruled local council's decision to reject fracking. In its most basic form, fracking is the process of drilling into the earth to extract gas.
So it seems that we know fracking is a risk to our health, we know it's a risk to our climate, it seems now it is also a risk to our democracy. The idea is we want the fracking industry to know wherever they show their head, even if they choose to do it in secret like here, we will turn up and we will make it absolutely clear that we say no and we mean no.
There are really close connections between this industry and the shale industry. The former CEO of Quadrilla used to be the chief non-executive director to Parliament. So there were people in big oil and gas right at the heart of our democracy.
It was against what the people in those communities wanted. The vast majority of people at Preston New Road and Rosica have very clearly said they do not want this industry. And Sajid Javid, Theresa May and the government have just gone completely against those wishes. Communities have not given their consent for this industry and they'll be fighting it all the way, working together to ensure that we never have fracking in the UK.
They said a huge no. He's turned that to yes. People still say no. We're not going to stand for it. We want investment in renewables and we want it now.
Undoubtedly, this is a very important issue to many, with demonstrations like this taking place beyond the Greater Manchester and Lancashire region. Only time will tell whether these protests will make a difference to the government's final decision on the new fracking site. Michael Sheridan, Quays News, Manchester Airport.
Tim Peake visited Media City last week to talk about his time in space.
The 44-year-old astronaut spent 6 months aboard the International Space Station earlier this year. He decided to tour for 7 days to share his story.
Media City UK was his last stop on the tour. Rachel Williams reports.
It's not every day you get to say you've had a selfie with an astronaut. Well, last Saturday was not a normal day. All systems would go at Media City's Piazza at the weekend as it played host to British ESA astronaut Tim Peake. A family-based audience gathered to listen to Major Tim talk about his 6-month mission living aboard the International Space Station. The talk covered everything from training, space travel, going to the toilet and what the Earth looked like.
What's remarkable when you first see planet Earth is by daytime it's very hard with the naked eye, it's very hard to see any evidence of life on planet Earth whatsoever. You just see, wow, it's just this wonderful geological feature spreading across continents, no boundaries, and it's just amazing to see the different continents, the colours and the geological features. And then, you know, soon as you've seen that, you're into the night part of the orbit, and the night orbit's completely different, of course. The human habitation stands out, it hits you in the face with all the lights of cities, and you actually kind of see the pattern of migration that has taken us around the world. So it's absolutely stunning to see that. And at first the view it's almost overwhelming. You can see more than 2,000 kilometres in any direction.
Everyone, especially the children, were very excited to meet this science legend.
Space.
What did he talk about today?
He talked about a rocket. I want to be a spaceman.
And why is that?
Because I want to see the moon.
I like the bit when he said how the landing was.
Yeah?
And the parachute coming out.
And have you got his autograph?
Yes, I've got it there.
Rachel Williams reporting for Quays News.
This October marks the 20th annual Black History Month in the UK.
We sent reporter Elliot Thompson to find out what students think about the month.
Black History Month is an annual event that takes place in October. It is a month in which the history, art and culture of black minority ethnic groups are recognised and celebrated. The Students' Union are hosting a range of events throughout the month that any of you can get involved in. This is only the second year that the Union has celebrated Black History Month, and so my mission for today is to find out how engaged and aware you, the students, are of the Black History Month celebrations. Were you aware that this month is Black History Month?
Yes, I was.
I am not currently aware that as well.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, only because I've seen it on the screensaver in the library.
It's one thing to be aware of Black History Month, but for the celebrations to have their full impact, student engagement is key, so I wanted to find out if students are aware of the on-campus events.
No.
Yeah.
Of that, there isn't enough information out for it, so I think you need to promote it even more.
Yeah, I've heard about them on the internet.
I only know about one, which is because of this month. Now the student union are selling different types of food.
The UK has made a lot of progress in terms of racial equality, so I asked students if they think it is still important for the university to celebrate Black History Month.
Of course, because this country is full of cultures anyways, and we all need to get on. Therefore, we need to learn about each other.
Well, there's a wide variety of ethnics here anyway, so it's nice to appreciate other people, and obviously white people get a lot of acknowledgement with different things anyway, so it's nice. I find it's a great way of celebrating you guys, so to speak. So
I think it's quite important, especially that Manchester's now, there's a lot of more different students coming from overseas, a lot more diverse than it usually was.
Yeah, because we have like different students from like everywhere, so we kind of need them to know about all the history.
It's a multicultural university, so I think everyone should learn about everyone else's cultures. Well, yeah, I mean, not just for black people, but for everyone. Like, what we've been put through over the years, like slavery, lynching, all these assaults. It's basically just to celebrate our freedom from that. So it's really good that everyone celebrates it, so that as we're coming together as a community, so because we're not all different races, like we're all one race, and that's the human race.
Students' Union are hosting a diverse range of events including quizzes, karaoke nights and debates, meaning there is something for everyone to enjoy this Black History Month. More details can be found on the Students' Union website. Elliot Thompson, Quays News, Salford.
And now with your latest sports news is Joey. So hello Joey, what's new in sport?
Hey Nikki. Well, despite drawing their last game against Boston United, Salford City FC did have some exciting news. An announcement revealed Salford City FC's plans for their new 5,000 capacity stadium are underway. The Moor Lane ground will be completely transformed as bosses prepare for the Football League. They aim for Salford City to become a Football League side by 2020. It has not yet been revealed just how much this revamp will cost. The blueprints show that the main concrete stand is set to remain at Moor Lane, but with further plans for renovation. Our reporter Matt Bulling spoke to a member of the club's committee after Salford's match on Saturday.
I mean, Salford announcing this new plans to build a new stadium, that really underlines the ambition of the club.
Yes, it's good. It's going places, and it's good for the local community as well. I think everything that's happening has just gone so fast at the minute. It's gone. The last 2 seasons gone mad, absolutely mad.
And obviously the plan is for Salford to be in the Football League by 2020. So this is a real signal of intent, building the new stadium to get all the new fans in.
Yeah, well, to be fair, if you look around, we need it, don't we? We've not got the facilities that we for this league, especially as if we go up again, we definitely need it. So hopefully we can, once it's built, it'll be all good.
And it must be great to have obviously the big names like Gary Neville, Ryan Giggs, all of the class of #2 supporting the club.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, the boys are right behind it. It's good, really good. Good for the club.
And what do you think the importance of the 600 capacity supporters club is? Obviously, I mean, you almost filled this ground today. That's great for all the supporters to build that community again.
Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, we're working out of Port Commons at the minute, so I mean, to have a bigger bar and get more in, then that'll be great. Yeah, I think with capacity at the minute for the bar we've got to about 150, so won't be too bad.
If planning permission is granted, Salford will have 2 sides of the ground up by March, so building will start immediately. Yesterday saw the return of our Olympic and Paralympic heroes as Manchester hosted a parade to welcome the athletes home. 150,000 people braved the pouring rain to line the streets of Manchester yesterday afternoon as the athletes paraded through the town. Crowd favourites such as Jessica Ennis, who announced her retirement last week, were in attendance to commemorate the incredible events in Rio. The athletes made their way down Deansgate, finishing their route in Albert Square, where they were given a stunning reception by thousands of fans. Tune into our Olympic special at 4 on Friday, which features an exclusive interview with a Team GB medalist and all the action from the parade. That's all from Sport Today.
Thanks, Joseph. Looking forward to the Olympic special. Now, with Christmas just around the corner, it's no surprise that Manchester is getting into the festive spirit, especially with events like Winter Wonderland at Event City right on our doorstep.
Our reporter Misha Solanke went to speak to the star of the show, Basil Brush.
What have I been doing to get ready for Christmas? Well, of course, buying all the presents, but having to learn all the lines for the show that I'm going to be doing at Winter Wonderland. That's what I'm doing, because most of my Christmas is all about being at Winter Wonderland Event City in Manchester. But then coming out of the show and going on all the rides, that's what I can't wait for. Under one roof, rides, Santa Claus, reindeers, talking foxes, Basil Brush shows, a pantomime of Cinderella. What more could you want? And, of course, seeing the reaction of the boys and girls as I do my boom booms and get them up on stage and get most of them wet. So, this is Basil Brush for Quays News. Boom boom!
Local charity Forever Manchester recently launched Caketober. It's a month-long fundraising event designed to bring the community together through a shared love of all things sweet. Sophie Chadwick visited the event to find out more.
Caketober, a month-long event created by Al Mackin, founder of the eWord digital agency and then ambassador of Forever Manchester, was designed with the aim of bringing together sectors of the Greater Manchester community through bake sales and fancy dress fundraising events. We went behind the scenes with the team involved and spoke to Cheryl Hill, events and volunteer officer.
So Caketober is a month-long celebration in which we get businesses, restaurants, cafes, community groups involved, and they host bake sales for us that do on-the-item donations alongside fancy dress. So the different ways people can get involved is just have to head to the website, which is caketober.com, and they'll be able to register either your own event within your business or home, or sign up to be like a cafe or restaurant to take part and do an on-the-item donation. We really encourage people to be as creative as possible with their Caketobers, and what's great is the fancy dress element to it as well. So Halloween is a super popular time for people to take part, and yeah, it just brings everyone together in a really positive way, because who doesn't love cake?
Rachel Hurst, Head of Communities, also discussed with us the benefits that Caketober provides the community as a whole, supplying funding to a variety of much needed projects.
So we love Caketober because who doesn't love eating cakes, and with the lovely byproduct of raising lots of money for fantastic community organisations and community activity across Greater Manchester. Last year we raised £9,200 along with the great support of the eWord, our partners in Caketober, and this year with their support we're hoping to get that up to £10,000 or more, which would be wonderful. That will help us to reach so many different communities. We fund groups that are supporting people with dementia, we fund breakfast clubs during the summer holidays, we fund football groups, we fund groups that help people who are feeling lonely. I mean, at the root of all the work that we do, it's about communities coming together to do what those communities want.
We also caught local hero Captain Manchester tucking into some cake in the office.
A documentary has been released about Manchester band Oasis. With me now is Ed Tyler to discuss the new release. Hi Ed.
Hi.
So first of all, what did you think of the film when you first watched it?
Yeah, so I went to see it yesterday and it was a really, really great film. I'd heard really good things about it. It's actually quite difficult to find And it's just a really interesting story. It basically charts the rise of Oasis from their formation in 1991 through to around 1996 when they performed at Nebworth Farm in front of nearly 500,000 people, I think, over the course of 2 days, and it's one of the biggest gigs that there's ever been. And it's just really those early years of Oasis. There's not too much focus on their later years or on their split, but there is very much a big focus on that rivalry between Liam and Noel Gallagher and the story behind that, which I think is a really interesting thing to be able to see.
So it's as much a focus and how they develop the music as it is about their characters as well, then, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. It really goes through the process of those first two albums, Definitely Maybe and What's the Story, Morning Glory, and just shows how iconic they are, how difficult it was for them to make, and while they were so iconic and loved while they were performing, the difficulties of making those albums. And it was just something that was really great to watch, but the main story really is that character development, watching Liam and Noel's rivalry. You've got Noel, the more sensible of the two, trying to keep everything in control, but also, really being a control freak, really, of the band. And then Liam, who's just kind of happy-go-lucky rock star, just there to have a great time, and the jealousy, really, between them, which we still see to this day.
So do you think, because obviously Oasis is such an important sort of band to Manchester, it's definitely sort of a part of the culture of Manchester?
Yeah, I mean, having grown up in Manchester, Oasis is such a big thing. We've got so many bands from Manchester who are so great, but Oasis are, the biggest ones of all of them.
Yeah.
And their legacy still lasts today.
Well, thanks very much for that, Ed.
Thank you.
Now let's see if the rain is continuing throughout the week with Francesca Boyd with the weather.
Good afternoon, Salfordians. It's wet and windy, but that's no surprise to you, I assume. Today temperatures will drop as low as 9 Celsius, and for the next 5 days will peak at 13 to 14 Celsius with a few rays of sunshine. So it's rain max today and sun hats tomorrow, but we suggest that they're waterproof because this is the north after all.
Thanks, Francesca, for that. And finally, to a story of Manchester University graduate who has opened up a cafe, but with a twist. Doug Raworth reports.
Well, after coming back to uni, I noticed along Chapel Street this lovely looking cafe, and I wanted to find out a little bit more, but it's more than just a cafe. Let's take a look inside to find a little bit more about it.
Set up by Gina Kirby, along with her parents, it combines a cafe with an art gallery for aspiring artists to showcase their work.
So we decided to open up not just a cafe, not just an art gallery. We wanted it to be a mixture of them both. We wanted people to be able to have a look at the artwork, and enjoy, home-baked treats and hot drinks. We've got some amazing specialty teas and coffee, amazing coffees, and always have a range of cakes.
Gina, a Manchester University architecture graduate, fell in love more with art during her degree. She hopes the idea of a cafe will get more people interested in art galleries. Here she is showing some of her work.
So it's all local and emerging artists that we have exhibiting here. It's for anyone to exhibit, and it's a 1 month free exhibition. And so we're changing every month. We're already booked up until July. And everyone's been so interested in all the work, and there's some incredible artists up and coming. It's a family business. It's me and my mum are the ones which are here, and we built it ourselves. My dad did this concrete counter. We laid the floor by ourselves. We've literally put our heart and soul into this little venture, and we hope everyone likes it as much as we do.
Well, I've had a lovely morning filming here. I've had a slice of toast, gorgeous cup of coffee, not to mention the exquisite Rocky Road. And for someone who isn't really a gallery lover, I've loved looking around here. Wonderful, peaceful atmosphere, looking around at everybody's work. So if you walk along Chapel Street, come in and have a look at this wonderful venue. This is Doug Raworth for Quays News.
Now that's all from Quays News today. See you next week.
Goodbye.